Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Friday, October 23rd, 2015, around 3:23 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's a very nice and sunny day out, but very breezy and windy, about 50 degrees out. The leaves are coming down like crazy now. It just looks beautiful and stuff, but in a few weeks they'll be all gone, the leaves from the trees, and you have to start raking them up. And the cold weather's coming with the snow, and there's below zero temperatures. Some news to report. USA's men's basketball has named its new head coach for men's basketball to replace Mike Krzyzewski. It's going to be Greg Popovich, head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. He takes over in 2017. And the Seattle Mariners have named Scott Service its new field manager. That's about it on the news. My next video blog subject of the day is about the old Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Metrodome was a multi-purpose stadium that was open for about 31 years. It was the home of the Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Twins, and the Minnesota Golden Gophers of NCAA college football and other events. The background of the Metrodome, that in the 1970s, the Twins and the Vikings were playing at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomingdale, Minnesota, and both teams wanted a new facility because the Metropolitan Stadium was aging and stuff. Especially the Vikings wanted their own stadium because it only seated 48,000 for football, which was well below standards for the NFL. I think in 1970, they said each NFL facility had to be at least 50,000 people there and stuff. And it was talk, in the mid-70s that the Vikings were going to move into the University of Minnesota Memorial Stadium, which was played by the Golden Gophers, but they was against it because they didn't want to share a facility with a college team and stuff like that. And also, the Twins wanted their own facility and stuff because of the Metropolitan Stadium aging, plus it got real cold in April and stuff, and they were talking about a dome stadium, and they looked all over the place in the greater Minneapolis area and St. Paul, and they decided to have it something on a plot of land right in the section of the eastern section of downtown Minneapolis, and they broke ground on it on December 20th, 1979. It was going to be named after Hubert H. Humphrey, who was a former U.S. Senator from Minnesota, and also he served as Vice President of the United States in the 60s. And he ran unsuccessfully for president in 1968. And it was the price tag was $68 million to build the Metrodome. That's very low to build a professional sports facility and stuff. It would probably be about $525 million in 2015 dollars. And the Metrodome was under budgeted and on time. It opened in 1982, and it seated 46,564 for baseball and 50,000 for basketball, concert 60,000, and football 64,121. The roof of the Metrodome was actually a kind of a roof that deflated and stuff like that. It was a very good roof. The Minnesota Twins played in the Metrodome for about 28 years, from 1982 through 2009. The Minnesota Twins had a lot of success at the Metrodome and stuff. They won two American League West titles and 4 AL Central titles. They played 3 American League championship series at the Metrodome, and in 1987 and in 1991 the Minnesota Twins won the World Series by winning all 4 games at the Metrodome and stuff. They called it the Homerdome and stuff, and they had like the Yankees and stuff and like that. Longtime public dress announcer of like the Metrodome was Bob Casey. He would say, "Hey, there's no smoking at the Metrodome." And also, the Minnesota Vikings were tenants of the Metrodome. They were in it for 31 years, from 1982 through 2013 and stuff. The Vikings had some success at the Metrodome as well. They played a few NFC championship games there, but the Vikings did not win any NFC championships at the Metrodome and stuff like that, because they have not won an NFC title since 1977 and stuff. And also for about like 26 years, the Golden Gophers, University of Minnesota, played at the Metrodome, and usually in September, sometimes there were scheduling conflicts for the Twins and the Golden Gophers. The Twins, some September home games on Saturdays, had to play at 11 a.m. local time and stuff, and they had to play quickly because they had to get the field ready for a 6 o'clock game local time for the Golden Gophers and stuff like that. Sometimes the Twins would have to stop the game and play it the next day because of like curfew and stuff like that, and it wasn't that very good and stuff. And also there were the Super Bowl 26 was played at the Metrodome, the one that the Redskins beat the Bills and stuff. It was the last Super Bowl that was called by Pat Summerall and John Madden on CBS and stuff. And also several NCAA men's basketball tournament games was there, like some first and second round games, the regional finals, and also 2 NCAA men's Final Fours, 1991 and 2001. Coincidentally, both of those NCAA men's basketball championships was won by Duke University. That's pretty amazing. Plus, they had a lot of rock concerts there, and they had AWA Wrestle Rock 86 and stuff at the Metrodome, but it only drew about 24,000 and stuff like that. The AWA was dying territory by 1986 and stuff like that. Very surprised that WrestleMania never had, the WWE never had a WrestleMania at Minneapolis, Minnesota and stuff. That would have been very, very interesting and stuff. But by the late 1990s, there was talk that the Metrodome needed to be replaced because of it being a multi-purpose facility. By the 1990s, there were baseball-only parks and football-only stadiums and stuff. The cookie-cutter stadium in the 60s and 70s were basically kind of outdated within 5 to 10 years and stuff. And the Minnesota Vikings were looking to like find a new facility and stuff, and there was threats of relocation by the Vikings to Los Angeles and stuff. The Minnesota Twins threatened to be contracted in 2001 and stuff like that. And actually, the last 7 years of the Twins playing in the Metrodome, they were on a year-to-year lease and stuff. And at any time, they could have terminated that lease and stuff. But there was no city in North America with a facility ready for the Minnesota Twins, so they stayed put in the Metrodome. Finally, in like 2007, the state legislature of Minnesota signed funding for a new Twins-only ballpark, which opened in 2010, which was called Target Field. In 2009, the Metrodome was rebranded as the Mall of America Field at the Metrodome, and the Vikings continue to play in there. The University of Minnesota Golden Gophers vacated the Metrodome after 2008 to go to UCF Park, no, UCF Bank Stadium on the campus of the University of Minnesota and stuff like that. And there were some issues with the roof for the Metrodome in 2010. It collapsed and stuff. It got deflated because of heavy snow. The Vikings had to play a home game in Detroit, and it was, talk that the Metrodome needed to be replaced and stuff. Still threats of relocation by the Vikings. Finally, in 2012, the state legislature voted to fund a new stadium for the Minnesota Vikings, and it was going to be built on the same site as the Metrodome, and Metrodome was destroyed after the 2013 NFL season, and the Vikings have to play 2014 and 2015 at the University of Minnesota. And that was the Metrodome was a pretty good facility and stuff, what I heard and stuff. It was, very loud in there. Both the Twins and the Vikings had success in there. Also, for about a year, the Metrodome was home to the Timberwolves when they were working on Target Center and stuff. So that first year they were in existence, the Timberwolves played at the Metrodome and stuff like that. And the Metrodome was one of the two only stadiums for baseball built in the 1980s. The other one's in Skydome. So that's about it on the Metrodome, and that's about it on this video blog. I'll be back later on today with my third and final video blog of the night, which will be about former Major League Baseball player Joe Carter. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy. Molly Woldsmother, Fox 35 Rocks, and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart of News 6 is so stunning. And in the words of good old JR, WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross, business is about to